There are two types of secrets in New York City, the kind that stay buried beneath concrete and time, and the kind that are so large, so opulent, they hide in plain sight. Detective Elias Thorne, a man who saw through the city's concrete facade to the rot beneath, specialized in the latter. The scene he arrived at on a chilly October morning was a secret of the second kind. The penthouse belonging to Julian Vance, a titan of global finance and chairman of the private equity firm Vance & Co., occupied the entire top floor of a classic Art Deco skyscraper in Midtown. The view alone, a commanding panorama of Central Park, was worth more than most nations' GDP. Vance hadn't been robbed, he hadn't been shot, he had simply disappeared. Thorne, tall, gaunt, and perpetually dressed in a slightly rumpled gray suit that matched the color of his eyes, walked the perimeter, his worn leather shoes whispering on the Persian rug. The apartment was a fortress of tranquility and expensive taste. Everything was exactly where it should be, too exactly. Julian Vance's morning ritual had been frozen in time. A half-eaten grapefruit on the breakfast table, still glistening. A copy of the Wall Street Journal folded open to the commodities section. A half-finished cup of strong black coffee on his desk in the library. No sign of forced entry, Detective. Sergeant Reyes, a young, earnest officer from the precinct, adjusting the tape measure in his hand. Security logs confirm the exterior door was locked from the inside. Windows are sealed. There's no fire escape access on this level. The only way out was the way in, Sergeant, and the way in was locked, Thorne mused, running a finger along the cold, carved mahogany of the library door. What about his staff, the doorman, the private elevator operator? All interviewed. They saw him enter the night before, around 11:30 p.m., alone. No one saw him leave. The elevator log shows only 1 trip up and 0 trips down between midnight and 8 a.m. when the housekeeper arrived. Thorne moved to the center of the library, the nucleus of Vance's power. It was dominated by a heavy, century-old partner's desk. Thorne noticed the small, almost imperceptible detail that always revealed the truth, the absence of dust. A small, square patch near the center of the desk was pristine, untouched by the fine layer of city grit that coated the rest of the surface. Something significant had been placed there and recently removed. Forensics find anything interesting? Thorne asked. Just the usual executive clutter. But wait, we found this. Reyes handed Thorne a small velvet-lined box. Inside lay a single obsidian cufflink, heavy, intricately carved, and utterly unique. Obsidian, volcanic glass, not exactly a Tiffany's staple, Thorne noted, turning the cufflink over. Check his wardrobe. Does he own a set? Reyes nodded. He did. His valet confirmed he had a pair of custom cufflinks made from ancient Icelandic obsidian. Now only one is left. Thorne placed the cufflink back in its box. It was a clue, but one that raised more questions than answers. Why would a man remove a single cufflink, leaving it behind like a calling card, before vanishing from a sealed room? Thorne's focus shifted to Vance's desktop computer. The screen was dark, but a faint, lingering warmth suggested recent use. The password was impenetrable, but the police tech team was already working on it. Nearby stood a secure, floor-to-ceiling vault, disguised as a bookcase. It held Vance's most private documents. The vault? Thorne asked. Locked. Combination only. We're working on the drill pattern now, Reyes confirmed. Hold the drill, Sergeant. Look at the books. Thorne pointed to the narrow shelf that served as the vault's access panel. The books were arranged in typical library fashion, by author, then title. But Thorne's eyes caught a strange anomaly in the financial section. The Theory of Interest by Irving Fisher was sitting upside down. A private joke? A sign of distress? Thorne wondered. A sequence, Thorne corrected, his voice low. Vance was a man who lived by algorithms. He wouldn't tolerate chaos. He used that book to signal a shift.
Thorne spent the next hour meticulously examining the shelves, noting the publication dates of the 10 books immediately surrounding the misplaced volume. He wasn't looking for codes, he was looking for a pattern only Vance would recognize. He realized the upside-down volume was the pivot point. He started counting the digits of the publication dates, following a complex financial ratio that Vance often publicly touted. 1930, 1985, 2001. Thorne stepped back, walked to the dial, and punched in a 7-digit sequence derived from his analysis. Click. Whir. The bookcase swung inward, revealing a small, climate-controlled steel vault. Inside, the vault held no gold, no stacks of cash, and surprisingly few documents. It contained 3 items: a worn leather-bound volume, a blank journal, apparently, labeled simply The Ledger, a single encrypted data stick, military grade, and a faded photograph of a young woman standing on a windswept cliff, her face obscured by shadows. Thorne picked up the journal. It was heavy, strangely cold to the touch. When he opened it, the pages were thick, black, and completely blank. "Just a blank diary, Detective?" Sergeant Reyes, disappointment clear in his voice. "Obsidian, Sergeant. It's too heavy to be mere paper and leather. And look at the texture." Thorne ran his finger over the edge of the pages. "It's slate, or perhaps pure polished obsidian, and it's not blank, it's waiting." He didn't know what the ledger contained, but he knew what it represented, the reason for Julian Vance's disappearance. The obsidian ledger wasn't a record of money, it was a record of power, and the secrets that power demanded. Thorne left the high-rise with the obsidian cufflink, the encrypted stick, and the black ledger, knowing he had just stumbled into a game far bigger than corporate fraud. He had the feeling that Julian Vance had orchestrated his own vanishing act, leaving behind a trail of breadcrumbs for the one person he knew would find them. And that single black cufflink was the key to understanding the obsidian ledger's secret.